morning. Hey, welcome back, Brian. I know it's been really quick video since we did our last one, and there was a bunch of comments coming in, obviously pro Chia, and there's a lot of people who are still very skeptical or have given up on Chia. So you want to address some of the comments. I think when we spoke offline that there were some that was just pretty interesting, and I just wanted to get your take on it. I'm pretty sure you know which ones I'm talking about.
All right. Well, I mean, the most dramatic commenter, of course, was Leafy.
Okay, okay.
Um,
What did you feel that certain comments coming in, negativity towards you or towards Chia? How does that how do you feel about that? Like, I mean, does it really impact you, or is it just something that, get over it kind of a thing?
for the most part, get over it. I mean, it's like all keyboard warriors who are anonymous. Some can get pretty dark, and it's not like I stay up at night thinking about it, but it
Right,
does bother me if I'm being honest. It's like
right.
when someone wishes things to happen to you in prison. I was like,
Oh
okay,
man.
that's kind of
Okay. All
strange.
right. I didn't know it went that far, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I think there was a couple of new items that Chia themselves have put on in the public's view. Certain things. I'm not too familiar with it. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I think it went along the lines of uh, with the pre-farm. They're still liquidating that, right? That's something that's still happening each month apparently.
Yeah, and it started to become more frequent than once a month.
Really?
It
More
looked like it was
okay.
about every 7 to 10 days for a period of
Interesting.
time.
Interesting. So, what percentage are they at now? As far as how much they have left and how many times they've sold already. They
Oh,
still
you
have a
know,
good.
we should pull it up on XCH.Ninja.
Oh, is
That's a
that where
good,
they get that one from? All right, let me see.
it's a
XCH.
dashboard of the current situation, and it's created by Slowest Time Lord, who's not employed by CNI, but is really following the project.
All right, so I have it here. Tracking the chia pre-farm. Wow, look at this. So,
So what are they at? 18 million left or something?
how do you even check that from here? I'm just curious. How do you even see
Let
that?
me pull mine up too. We should do a screen share. XCH.Ninja.
Yeah, go ahead and share what you see because this is the first time I'm actually looking at XH. I didn't even know this one existed. Kind of a little
Okay.
confusing about the up and downs of the XCH, the 50. Was
Well,
it
if you go
50?
down to the bottom, you
Oops.
can see the total amount of Chia that's been transferred out and then the total USD value. So they transferred out 1,168,000 Chia, and I'm rounding.
Right.
And then the USD value is almost $26 million that's been transferred out there.
So I read a couple interesting Reddit posts uh, on the Chia this no Chia Reddit, sorry, and they mentioned that maybe Chia can get acquired, and they can get some funding behind them or some support and push out whatever it is that they
Oh,
do. But
I know
my
what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
so my thing was, what is it that they're offering?
Yeah, yeah. So there was a comment, I think it was on the very bottom of that Reddit thread. I
Hmm.
had to delete some of my previous comments that I had made in reply, but the question was something along the lines of, why doesn't CNI just get more equity? And um
How would they do that?
yeah, and that's the bottom line. Like what investors are out there that are going to want to throw more money at them and why?
Right.
Like how are they going to get their money back? If CNI after 4 years is not profitable and is having to sell this pre-farm to meet payroll and pay their developers, it doesn't look, I mean, I don't understand why anyone would want to buy equity in that.
Right. So I mean, it's gone this far now. Has it been 4 years, 5 years now? Going on 5 years, I guess, with Chia,
Let's see.
since
Yeah.
the main launch.
Like
And
main net or
yeah,
yeah,
the main net. I guess when it went kind of more in popularity,
like
three,
yeah, 3.5, I'd
three and
say
a half
three.
only. Okay, I thought it was a little longer, but okay. So I mean, you don't see any potential with what they're trying to do, right? I mean, there's still a lot of people who see claiming that they have the best technology, this and that, and that they're, it takes a little bit of time. It doesn't happen overnight, even though it's been 3.5 years.
Yeah, I mean, so my take is different than a lot of other people's. I think that the technology is still really good, and it's solid aside from the fact that they had the whole plot compression thing, and now they have to create new plots. That's a
Mm.
problem from
Has
the
that
technical.
happened yet? I don't even know. Has the new plot compression happened already?
No, they're trying to make a plot compression resistant format so that
Right.
there's no
That
more GPUs decompressing. But yeah, that's not ready yet. They're still in development,
Wow.
and
Okay.
in
So
fact, they're
people still have the option of doing the Mad Max and the Blade Bit and the traditional Chia
and Dr. Plotter,
and
who
Dr. Plotter,
CNI
right?
bought,
So that's
and
four. Is that four options that you have current today?
let's see, Mad Max, Dr. Plotter, no SSD, and then your old school Chia plotting.
So that's four options that you still have today. And what Chia is trying to accomplish is get rid of all that and only have one type of plot compression.
Yeah, and it won't even really be compression, so to speak. It'll just be one plot format, highly resistant to efficiency of using GPUs to decompress.
Interesting. I mean, the whole security behind it is debatable, right? Anything can be broken in within
And
time,
that's the
obviously.
skepticism too, that people are like, well, how long is it going to take for
Take
some
before
genius to
the
figure out
next
how to
one,
make
yeah.
this? Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, apparently Max did it in no time, so all that was definitely questionable. So I do want to bring up a couple of things here. Node counts as of today. Let me see if I can screen share this properly, because so that way you can see what I'm looking at. Share. All right, so let's do that. Let's share that. Let me know if you see it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have 57,000 nodes. Um, you know, this number was dramatically higher back in the day. What was the highest that you recall? I believe it was like in almost 100,000
Yeah,
or
it was over 100,000. Your screen went away, by the way, the web browser thing.
oh,
Um,
sorry. Okay. Yeah, I moved it down to the bottom. But let me just move that back up here. Yeah.
Yeah, is there
Okay.
a graph that shows the history? I think there is. If you go to total nodes, it'll give us a historical graph if you click on that, I think.
All right.
Top left where it says 57,000 if you click that.
57,000
Yeah, go to
share
view.
view. Nope, that's just
Um,
that's just a bigger
where's the
view
chart?
of it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out too. Hold on one second. New tab to the right. Oops. So let me just pull this up. So I'm trying to share it the same way we're looking at it from the other screen. Okay. So I have so we got 56,000 or 57,000 nodes. I don't see where to check the history
Oh,
by
inspect data maybe? Did you see that drop down on the right there? It
inspect
said
data. Okay.
inspect, and then
Can
there's
I
data
change
and
this? I can't
stats.
change this. I do not. I don't see
Yeah.
the ability to change this. Well, anyway, uh, point was that the node counts are definitely coming down, and this can be also a reasoning between someone using no SSD still, right? Because if they're using no SSD, it wouldn't reflect the true numbers of the nodes.
Right. You don't need to run a node when you farm no SSD plots.
Right, right. So let me
But
just.
on the other hand, like for example, me when I was farming no SSD, I had
Mhm.
to have a node also because I wanted a full wallet and all of that to move my coins around.
Oh, right.
So
So if you had no SSD, you still had to need a wallet, and if you had a
yeah,
wallet, you're still considered a node.
yeah. Unless
Oh,
you were
okay.
sending like all your rewards straight to a Tangem or something like that, a Tangem
Right,
hardware wallet.
right.
Yeah,
And
most.
what's even more deceiving, right? I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of an individual as a farmer. We were advised to have supposedly a cold wallet. So we spun up another machine or something to have enough. So that 57,000 or whatever X amount is probably one person times two. Like each person had two wallets in
It's not
essence.
a bad theory, because I think when I was farming, I had maybe 3 or 4 full nodes running all the time. I
I
wanted
had,
one for
yeah,
backup in case one crashed.
right.
I had different locations, stuff like this.
So
So
the numbers are not one for one as far as a farmer and a node count. I mean, one
I
person,
don't think
yeah,
node to person is an accurate
right,
estimate. No.
right, right. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I don't think that number is true to heart. I think it's probably a lot less farmers than counting nodes, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
boasting about these node counts initially, when it was up in the
Yeah.
80,000, up in the 100,000. But all right. So, yeah, I mean, I, you know, I think someone on the Discord made a really funny comment about us, kicking a twitching dead horse. So,
Right.
I mean, I haven't been on the Chia Discord. If FYI, a lot of you don't know, I was permanently banned practically, so I have no idea what's going on over there. I don't really know if there's still people talking about Chia. Are they still active on there? I don't know, Brian. Are you still aware of anything that's going on over there that they're talking about? New
I left
technology?
I left the official Chia Discord because I felt like um you couldn't really ask questions. Like if
Right.
you had an honest question,
Yeah.
and it was pushing buttons, you would
Right.
get like ostracized and pushed out. So
Oh yeah, definitely. If
I
you
was
offended
not a
anyone in particular, it was you're an out.
to be like purely positive all the time, I think is obnoxious and unrealistic. So I didn't want to even watch
That's
that anymore.
that is the same reason why I left Twitter, because these guys were wow. As soon as I saw that green leaf, I'm like, holy shit. It wasn't gonna stop. They were gonna like it was almost like today's political parties. That's how
Yeah,
bad it
it
was.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like politics or religion, like we said in the last video. One
Right.
thing that was commented on our last video, and again, I'm bringing up Leafy because he was the most combative person. He probably left over 10 comments. It has to do with the pre-farm. That pre-farm is so controversial.
Mm-hmm.
And my main sticking point that I have not changed my opinion yet is that the CNI went against their own white paper, right?
Right. Right.
Whether you want to call the things in their white paper a promise or a marketing piece, whatever it was, they had very specific controls.
Mm-hmm.
And as an attorney, I was trained how to read contracts and
Right.
interpretation of the English language
Of
and
course.
stuff like that. And I think it's really clear they had an intent with the pre-farm. That intent was never carried out. And when they changed the controls, they said that they would give this 90-day notice to the public, right? And that there would be a vote, like of the actual people in charge of CNI
Right.
would vote on these changes. One, we don't know if that vote ever happened, right? They
Right.
can
Of
keep it
course not.
private, they could keep it secret. Who knows what happened?
Right.
But as far as like notifying the public of which controls were changed specifically, they had 4 controls. And I was telling Leafy 1 and 3, they didn't tell the public within 90 days.
Right.
I think that's just a huge problem. But really, the bigger macro problem is the fact that all of this pre-farm sales is driving down price. And they're saying it's not, but it's pretty basic
I mean, but
economic
then
theory.
why? I mean, I didn't understand why even have this white paper to begin with if your intentions were going to go the other way anyway, right? I mean, you said all these things on the white paper, but then you basically didn't even honor it, and you revised it as time went on to adjust to the current circumstances.
Yeah.
In a short period of time too. It's not like it wasn't like 10, 20 years out. You're looking at like
Yeah.
like you said, 3.5 years, or whenever they drafted up that first
So
revision.
like the most intense critics of
Mhm.
Chia would be like they never intended to do any of this stuff from the get-go. Those are like that's on the one extreme. This was all, set up to screw people.
Right, right,
I don't fall on that end. I do think that they had ambitions to do great things, and it just did not pan out whatsoever. But the way that they changed course was not good.
Right.
It wasn't transparent. It wasn't like, oops, we kind of didn't meet
Yeah.
our goals. We screwed up.
I mean,
And
believe it or not, I honestly, ever since I learned of Chia, like I got into the crypto craze as just like everyone else 3 4 years back. But I always, and I'm gonna keep I never really said it, but I knew that the name itself was not going to prosper. A name like
oh,
Chia is not gonna. It wasn't a, oh, look at that, Chia. Like, what the hell is it? A seed, or you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't have that same kind of marketing, attention that can get someone to be like, oh wow, I need to get this Chia. Like, it just
well,
wasn't there.
what's really weird, crypto is bizarre, man. Look at where
Hmm.
Chia's at. What are they at? 250 on coin market cap.
Right.
But if you look at all the coins beating Chia, those
Yeah.
are some bizarre names. Look at some of these names that are beating Chia. I mean, even Shiba Inu is kind of a strange name,
No,
but
but
yeah.
see there's a difference there, right? You can name that there could be thousands or hundreds of names that we may not agree with that would be like really up there. But we're talking specifically about Chia being an enterprise corporate level, supposedly a product that the organizations, a corporate organization was going to utilize.
Yeah.
Remember that they weren't going
Yeah.
to be like, oh, I want to get into Doge to do whatever on my data center. No, it was XCH specifically. So I can omit everyone else having corny names, all right. But Chia was in this class of his own, trying to target the enterprise level hard drives or data centers or whatever it was. I just didn't feel like Chia had that branding of a name
Yeah.
in itself.
That segues kind of into what I was thinking too, since our last video is one of the loudest proponents of Chia now, even today, is
Mm-hmm.
the Tang Gang, right? The Tang
Yeah,
Gang.
yeah,
So they came from Pulse Chain and Hex, and they're using Chia's blockchain to do their
right,
stuff.
right.
And
Can you
you know,
explain a little bit more about that? What is it that they're trying to do, or what is it that they've been doing?
well, they're big on NFTs,
Okay,
and I'm not a spokesperson for them, so sorry if I butcher any of this, you guys.
okay.
Uh,
I
but
have no idea what it is that they do. I've heard of the name here and there, but I never dived deeper and beyond that.
I think the bottom line point of what they are is they're retail degens, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of that can be used disparagingly or lovingly, depending on what you like to do with crypto.
So
So a
does
lot
that
of
mean that they're using Chia as a platform for buying and selling, trading NFTs? Is that what
right,
it?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Only.
And they're not only using Chia, it's just one
Oh,
of
okay.
many cryptos that
One of
they've
many
chosen.
cryptos. Okay.
Yeah.
And was there a
But
reason why Chia specifically? Because it had a lower transaction cost or something like that?
that's a good question, but
Mm.
I think if you take a step back and look at the higher level, you've got CNI who's trying to cater to corporations and governments and this really high level stuff that's anti-retail,
Right.
right?
And
They,
that, yeah.
they never wanted to get into Ledger. It seems like, I mean, if they wanted to, they could have probably by now. They didn't get into the top tier exchanges. All these questions of why, I still don't know.
They
Like
wanted to
why
be this big software company for corporations, but then they started releasing a whole bunch of corny ass raccoon looking NFT picture thingies.
That's the split personality that I'm talking about. So you've got Tangang going full retard, edit that, full crazy degens
Yeah, yeah.
on the one side, and then you got the company trying to cater to big business. It doesn't make sense.
It
It's
doesn't
a
make sense. Yes.
strange, it's oil and water. Uh,
Right, right. I mean, in Chia's defense, maybe it's like, Microsoft Azure cloud environment, biggest operating system, coverage all over the world. And here they have an Xbox at home for kids.
yeah,
I guess, maybe I'm defending Chia a little bit. Maybe that was the intention, trying to get a stronger foothold across, multiple platforms of multiple generations. I mean,
Well,
that's pretty.
I always thought they should have embraced both sides. I don't
Hmm.
think that they ever had to be exclusive on one or the other, but I do feel like they really pushed away the retail side of
Oh, they definitely
crypto.
pushed us away. No, I
Yeah,
felt that, the whole, single farmer, or, uh, home farmer, small farmer, whatever it is that you want to call them. There was
yeah,
no intentions to, keep them, like, even though they built up what it is that they can't boasting about, this whole node
y-
count and the farmers
yeah.
and this and that. But
I mean,
they
their biggest marketing opportunity came when the coin price was so hot and hard drives
mm,
were in low supply because of them, because of
right.
farmers
Oh
buying all
yeah,
the
I
hard drives.
remember. I remember going to Micro Center, and I said, I wasn't even like thinking about it. I was like, oh, it was, they were selling a bunch of 6 terabyte hard drives, you know, and I said, oh, I want to pick up three, whatever it is that you have left, and they said to me, and because I was talking to my friend at the time that we went to go buy, I was like, oh yeah, we'll set it up this way for Chia, blah blah blah, and then he asked, the salesperson asked, oh, what's that? What's Chia, right? So, oh, it's like a crypto, whatever. And then he goes talk to the manager. Manager comes back, oh, you can only buy one hard drive.
Oh,
That's when they were limiting, because, like, oh, they wanted to be fair to, like, the other customers. I was like, all right, all right. So yeah,
yeah,
that was a time when it was pretty hot.
yeah.
They had, go in Micro Center now and buy 10 hard drives and see what they say. They say, oh, please, take all
Take
of
them all. Yeah,
them. They won't stop you. I guarantee you that right now. They'll be
yeah.
more than happy to get rid of it, because they're still
So
sitting on
that
those hard drives now.
totally, and that was the time though for Chia Network to really capitalize on the hype for marketing purposes, and they never did because I don't think they wanted to. They didn't want to market to retail during that real big pump and that
I
big hype.
felt like Chia during that time was like, oh, see, we're doing so well just by word of mouth that, we're gonna ride that. We're not going
Yeah,
to spend money on, we don't need to spend $1 million on marketing or this and that. Everyone knows who we are already, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
how it felt like.
yeah. Sort of like Tesla. We don't need
Right,
commercials.
right, but
Yeah,
they were far from that.
right.
Because you ask anyone now what's Chia, and I would guarantee you, whoever's in crypto, I mean, good amount of people do not know or have heard of what the hell Chia is, because it didn't last
No,
long enough.
right.
It was a
Yeah,
small percentage of that community that only knew about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So it looks like all the hard drive coins are not doing so hot, you
Nah,
know.
I mean, how many other are there besides
Uh,
just?
HDD coin,
Yeah, nah,
burst,
I
uh,
never counted that as, no. Sorry, sorry.
nothing,
No,
nothing.
yeah, nothing.
I mean, there's storage, but that's not really the same
Is that the
type
only
of
fork that's
coin.
still around? It's a fork. It's not a actual coin. It's not a hard. It's not a
Storage
independent
is,
plat. No, the HDD coin.
it-
That's
oh
a
yeah,
that's a
HDD
fork.
coin. That I think it. Oh man,
I
I
could
don't
have
even
swore it
know.
was. I honestly, I don't know either, but I do recall, because I was doing videos. There was a lot of forks of Chia, and
I
Bram
don't know if
said,
that was a fork of burst though. Like, was
"Oh,
that a
that I'm
fork
not
of
sure.
burst or
I thought
chia?
it was Chia, because they were so,
I don't know.
trying to
I'm
boast
swimming
Chia."
outside. I'm
But
swimming outside my lane
But there
here.
was a time when Bram came out and said, "Don't even bother with the forks. It's a waste of time, or this and that. That, they're all garbage, right? You're just diverting
You
attention
know
away
how
from Chia." That's
you know how
what
some
it was
people
saying.
are saying, yeah, some people are saying in comment section that CNI or Bram said don't buy hardware. Like, I don't remember that. Do you remember that? Like during
Um,
the hardware craze when everyone was into Chia, was there an official statement?
I
Don't go
think
buy.
it wasn't a no. Nothing's ever official. I think it was just a statement made during one of the real early AMAs, where it was just him
Okay.
and Gene and the other guy that's probably not even there anymore. The older gentleman
The other
that was supposed.
unverified rumor, this
Yeah.
same lines, they're saying that Chia told us they expect the price to be $20. I don't recall any official statement on that either.
Yeah, that was
There was a
always like
website.
hypothetical talk. I
Yeah.
think that was like probably said out of his mouth at one time or another, but it was never written down anywhere or had any expectation. I know they did not expect the price to be where it was when it first released,
Well,
right?
nobody did
No
that
one
one.
did, right?
Yeah.
And I remember watching that live stream when they first went on mainnet. Some guy that I feel pretty. I was gonna say other words, but that one dude that purchased it at like 1600 because it was the first XCH. I feel sorry for him, but yeah, you know, so there
But
was a
yeah,
lot of.
I don't think anyone predicted a $20 from the Chia network saying this is what we expect. That's a fair valuation at launch.
But if you
I think
had a strong foundation, if you had anything going for yourself, you would have maintained that price at a certain level, not where it's constantly dropping week by week,
yeah, yeah.
right? I
What are we
mean,
say?
are you
Where
not worth the $13 now or the $12 now? Are you worth less than that or are you worth more than that? I don't know.
hey, look, we're lower than when we last talked. What, 4 days ago? We're at $12.90.
Oh yeah, I don't expect much from it, and I don't think it'll ever come back up to where any or even double that, to be honest. And every time I say that on the video or I made a video about it, people got all defensive.
Yeah, who
I
knows? But
still
all
hold
these
I still hold bags. I still have because I can't sell this shit because I'm in New York. Every freaking platform has declined my verification because they
So
know
did you
I
try
tried because my as soon as they have driver's license whatever it's New York and they
did
say they don't.
crypto.com says that about New York?
Everyone, yeah. Crypto.
The
There's a
app.
couple other ones, yeah. Yeah. I
So
gave up
that
on that
app.
shit. But it's easy when I'm doing stuff on like Uniswap and I'm using like, Coinbase and things like that. That's easy to do. But
Would you ever try to use Yak's bridge to get off
see,
of
I never even heard
FCH?
of that shit, but yeah. Never even heard of it.
Honestly, it's not simple, but he's a third party developer who's brilliant, and he made
Right.
something for people to get on or off of
Oh,
Chia.
but you know what? I think at this point, so I stopped farming, so I don't have much going on for it anymore. So whether I sell it or not at this point, at this value, it's probably not even worth it, to be honest, to go through that trouble. If I even lose what I have now, I will probably be like, oh well, like it got lost in transaction or something, or someone stole it from me. I'll be like, okay, whatever.
That's
I
pretty
lost,
bad.
I lost like $500.
And that was for what, a year of farming? Is that how
uh,
much time you spent getting that?
More or less. I mean, I gave away a lot too. Don't forget that.
Okay.
I did give away a lot. Like when it was still like $60, 70, I was giving it away. Whether it was
Wow.
half an XCH or a full XCH, everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna regret this later on." I was like, "You're sure I am." And that was me mocking Chia because I was giving it away because I didn't give a shit about it because I knew it wasn't gonna get anywhere. But yet people
Wow.
were still, they were like,
When was that for you?
"Oh,
What point did you, because initially did you have the hype bug too, where you believed in it
I
kinda and
didn't
you
believe,
thought,
never believed in it."
never.
Everyone that asked me or even called me personally outside of YouTube on the like, I was like, I don't believe in this shit. You can even ask Chris from, the Chia Plot. I said, I didn't believe in this shit. Yeah. One time, there was another YouTuber and he was talking to me about it, and this was offline, not on a video or anything. And I told him straight out, I was like, I don't believe in this project.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That was the reason why I kept giving it away. I was like, oh, it's easy, right? So I'm farming. I'll give it away. It gets me more subscribers. Why not? Right?
What
So,
about the day that you were in the hardware store buying hard drives?
oh, that
Were you
was,
doing
I mean, that was me actually start setting it up,
Yeah,
like getting,
okay.
like initially getting into it. And then, I use that as a segue into making more videos because I was getting viewership for it, right? So I
Got
said, all
it.
right, let me go Best Buy, let me go Micro Center, let me go pick up some hard drives, and I legitimately set it up and talked about it. I mean, I have the hardware to prove it, not to your level, but I had it, and I still
Yeah.
have it. So I use that as it was a trade off, right? So I spent a little money, and I got some viewership, and then I sent some XCH. I got some viewership. I got some subscribers, and that's how the momentum. That's how I became that Chia person thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did Chia get your attention originally? Like how'd you hear about
So originally, during the whole crypto hype, I was like, oh, I want to go pick up like a 3070 Ti, whatever, and it was hard to get, right? It was impossible to get. So a friend of
it? Yeah,
mine was
because
like, oh,
Ethereum.
there's this hard drive mining thing you can do, and then he sent me the link and the article, and one of the very first videos I watched was Caleb because he's the
Oh
only one
yeah.
that had this, how to guide
Yeah.
and I knew everyone was following his same specs and same hardware and same enclosure and whatever it was, and he was getting a lot of views. I was like, oh, let me give it a try. And then this channel was originally talking about just buying stocks and stuff, or like really low key financial, whatever, my personal investments. And and then one video was talking about Chia, and got a couple of thousand views. I was like, okay, let me just keep on rolling with it, and that's how that became a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. I was looking at your video history and I saw some of those early Chia videos got you the
yeah.
most views, of course, because that's when it was super
Yeah,
hot.
because I did some how tos, like the harvester. That was a big thing with the harvester, right? Because not everyone could fit all that crap into one machine, so they want, and everyone was having problems. I mean, this was all like on the CLI level, so not everyone knew what the hell they were doing. I didn't even know what the
Yeah.
hell I was doing
I
for the
didn't
most
either. I
part.
had to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so figuring it out, and editing the INI files, whatever, and just making it work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually, I think as time went on, they were like, "Oh, you don't have to open up the ports for it to farm anymore." I was like, "Oh,
I
okay."
remember.
Tried that shit and it worked too. And yeah, the initial videos I did probably had a lot more viewership because it was more neutral. It wasn't like
Yeah.
combative. It wasn't
Right.
like, oh,
Right.
because it was new. There was nothing to be against at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But as
Mm-hmm.
time went on, it was like, okay, you just released a bunch of funky NFTs like super late in the game,
Yeah.
right? I don't even know why you even bothered, but you did, right? And then they talk about they hyped up this whole holiday coin crap, right? I'm like, okay, and then
Yeah,
and
I
then they say, oh,
remember
we're gonna
that.
have the store, we're gonna have this holiday store. That's fucking
What
three
happened to
years
that?
later.
Yeah, I got my holiday. What happened to
Garbage.
that?
Nothing happened. Exactly that. But a lot of videos in between. You see, if you look at my Chia videos, I probably did one Chia video a week, but then I started talking about pools. I started talking about like other forks. So I had a lot of
Mm.
other Chia related content, but wasn't specific to Chia, but it related to
Yeah,
Chia. That was the thing. So
got it.
that's how that happened. And then in between, I would buy some additional hardware. I would do a keyboard review or a mouse review or enclosure review, things like that. I even bought I remember buying like this 4 bay in the beginning, early in the beginning. I bought like a 4 bay docking station for hard drives.
Right. Yeah.
And I did a video and that got a lot of attention. And then after I used it for a little bit, I said, this thing sucked. And I returned it, but I did the video already, So I was like, all right, whatever.
That's funny.
Some people
Yeah.
would ask, like, oh, you still have it? You still use it? Nah, I said I returned it. It wasn't that great, you know?
Yeah. I
So,
basically gave, man, that's exactly how I started too. I guess everyone starts somewhere, right? So I
oh,
had
yeah,
the
of course.
USB crappy
Uh,
documentation.
I would say the one thing that I learned the most about was, just plotting. Plotting was a bitch, right? It took
Yeah.
like
Oh man.
my longest, I remember the longest plots and actually getting it to work eventually. It was like an hour and a half per plot.
Yeah.
Not that I
Yeah.
had a lot of space to fill during that time, but then as you kept buying more, an hour and a half per plot was pretty ridiculous, man.
Oh, it took forever,
Yeah,
man.
so the downturn of all that when the whole like, all right, I spent an hour and a half per plot, and then now you got these GPUs or whatever producing 5 minute plots, and you're talking about like buying more hardware to accommodate this, and then you're
Yeah.
saying not to buy more hardware. That's when I said, get the hell out of here. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when I quit. As soon as Matt Max
Okay.
came out with his GPU stuff, that's when I said I'm not transitioning over to this GPU crap because I already
You
did
know,
that with the Ethereum stuff and
oh yeah. Yeah.
whatever else. I'm not gonna waste my time with Chia
What's
GPUs.
crazy about that evolution of plotting was, yeah, plotting was painfully slow. In fact, I think my first plots took 8 to 10 hours to make.
And
I
then what
mean, it's
happened when it failed?
brutal. Oh yeah, you have to start over.
Yeah,
So if there's
exactly.
interruption, or if your computer went to sleep or power,
Or
whatever,
you,
you got to start over.
you constantly
Yeah.
had to run the plot checker to see if it was good or not. I'm like, ugh.
And that sucked because there was so much writes, and we were all warned, like, if you do these writes, you're gonna burn out your SSDs.
So explain to me, whether it's an enterprise or a home user like yourself or myself, like a farmer, how was that revolutionary to anything? You know, creating these like slow plots, basically boiling soup, right? That took hours, and then that having to validate it after the fact just to make sure it works. Like, how was that even advanced technology? I couldn't comprehend that portion of it. So
Seriously, yeah.
I think you know I think Bram was great and what he did previously, but I don't think he has as much going on now, or maybe he just doesn't care as much to
I
focus on
wonder.
Chia.
I
But
wonder. Yeah,
Chia,
Mad Max though, he
yeah.
changed the game with his plotter, so he made a better plotter, right?
Oh yeah, of course. And I
And
think Max made a comment that was pretty interesting too. He's like, they dated themselves.
yeah, so
Yeah,
Max comes on the scene, revolutionizes how quickly you can plot, and
right.
then Harold Baines comes along with an all in-RAM plotter. This is before the video
Yeah.
card plotting. And if I went out and bought it, I got a 64 core Threadripper with 512 gigs of RAM just so I could make 5-minute plots all in RAM using the
Oh yeah,
CPU.
yeah, yeah. And that shit
So
wasn't cheap either.
no, I spent over 10,000 at least. It was probably 13,000 total for
But
that
I
machine.
think they bit their tongue because as far as so yeah, well, our Zoom session cut off. So what we were saying, I kind of lost track on that one.
We were talking about how I built a $13,000 plotter to just go
Oh
all in. And it was
wow,
making
yeah,
5-minute plots before the GPU stuff came out.
that's insane. Yeah, so yeah, that was one thing I was gonna say was the buying of the I think I remember right. So 128 gigs of RAM you needed to plot that without the GPU supposedly, and 128 gigs
More.
of
It
RAM
was more. It was
more. Oh,
512 gigs. Yeah.
512. Yeah, that was yeah. And I said to myself, a lot of gaming motherboards only maxed out at 128 gigs of
Yeah,
RAM.
exactly. Most retail boards 256 would
So
have been the most.
it didn't
128.
make
Yeah.
sense to me. And then you got some other dimwit saying, "Oh, you need to buy like server enterprise level, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
So if I buy that, I can't even use it for anything else besides what you're telling me to use it for, which is Chia plotting, which
Yeah.
ridiculous, ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm in hindsight, man. Oh man, I was dumb. I was
And
so
and
dumb.
and then I remember really clearly, and I started buying like these 6600 XTs to mine like Ethereum at the time, and I was like, oh, this is definitely more fun. Like it's more proactive. Like it was more active. It was like live because you're constantly like, if your miner is up, you're mining crypto like Ethereum,
Yeah,
whatever else you choose. But
yeah,
Chia was like you could sit on a freaking 8 terabyte 12 terabyte drive full of plots and you're staring at it, and there was no pools in the beginning. It was like, did I
yeah,
get anything? I'm looking to
yeah.
see, like, it was garbage. It's still garbage. I still say it's garbage. It hasn't gone anywhere. If Chia today watches this and claims that they've progressed from the 3 or 4 years ago, please enlighten me. Show me what is it that you've done so far that you've made so much money besides selling the pre-farm.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a big mystery. I wish we all knew because they say that we've got paying customers and
I
stuff
don't think
like
there's a
that.
mystery there. Honestly, I don't think that's a mystery. I think that's just bullshit talk.
I know. I mean, there's no proof. There's
If there
no,
was so much money coming in from your clients, why the hell do you need to sell more?
certainly not enough. I know. There,
I honestly think they're just trying to capitalize on the fact that there's still a value to it, and you might as well cash out. Hey, let me tell you something. If I had $5,000 in my pocket right now, and someone gave me another five, I would be happy. I might as well just take it, right? I mean, this is only extra $5. if you claim that you're making, making money from your paying customers or your clients, that then you shouldn't have to go to these reserves.
Right, right. They're
I
not making enough money to. So what do you say to those people in the comment section that say, what's the alternative then? If they don't sell the pre-farm, is it better if they just close up shop? And my opinion is yes, that is better. It's better if they stop selling the pre-farm and then stop development in an official capacity and just let the
I
community take over.
I'll be honest right now is that I don't even know what the hell it is that they're trying to accomplish. They want to go and become the next Red Hat model company, but I have no idea what is it that they're selling. Or I do know what they're selling. They're trying to sell, but it's not reaching the masses or their potential clients.
Certainly not their target customers of banks and
Yeah,
government.
because LV and Hermes, and they definitely aren't looking at the secondhand bullshit. And then whatever else that they're trying to with the whole carbon credit. And let's talk about the World Bank. What has that accomplished? They keep talking about it,
Yeah,
keeps being
yeah,
mentioned, but
yeah.
is that their paying customer?
Man, that was like one of the last questions I had asked on the official Chia Discord is, there was so much hype about the carbon credit stuff that they were
Yeah,
going to be doing. And my question was like, how much XCH has been traded on chain due to carbon credits? And it was something like two XCH. And
because they're
so I
not the
don't,
only players.
it just, yeah, it's like that's not going to
Yeah,
drive up demand for block space or anything, or the price.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he want. I don't understand what they're trying to be at this point, to a point where, oh, that's what they are, and they seem to be doing well there. I have no idea
Right.
what the hell it is that they're doing.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
yeah, that
There's
that
some of
was,
these,
yeah. Ever
there's
since
some of these,
then,
go ahead.
no, I was
Sorry.
gonna say, like, ever since then, like, when I couldn't figure out what the hell it was that you're trying to do, I gave up, and that's when I started talking shit. I wasn't even talking shit. I was just trying to make sense of it. Like, when they first hired the CFO, no, not the CFO, the chief marketing officer, I
Yeah.
was really trying to understand, like, where did that marketing go?
Right. I
And
never
then,
knew either.
yeah, and
Yeah.
from that point on, they let her go. I have yet to see anything that was marketed. But yet, if I think it was Gene. It was like, oh, if he spoke on Bloomberg or if he spoke on this whatever televised thing, oh, that's our marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? I didn't think that was needed to. Yeah.
I
Anyway.
think I think you're talking about Allison, right? So I think she
Yeah,
resigned.
yeah. I did a video on her
Yeah,
too.
she
Yeah.
resigned. And
Oh, I
after
don't
she
blame her. Yeah, that was a smart move.
after that, they never had a replacement, for that
Yeah.
role.
I mean, benefit of doubt. Most organization usually, after they leave, is like, oh, do we really need this person? Right? It's
Yeah.
always the same thing. Do we really need
Yeah.
them? We could wing it.
So if their overhead is, let's assume $1 million per month in payroll costs, they don't have enough customers. This is a safe assumption. It's not direct knowledge, but they don't have enough customers to pay for that cost.
Yeah.
And so $1 million worth of pre-farm every month is being sold
I
to cover, to
yeah,
cover
I
development.
covered a lot of those, like, those questions that I had by videos,
Yeah.
and you know, I got a lot of kickback from it. Whether it's from Gene or whatever. And it was like, I asked that, I asked, IPO, like, you kept saying it, you kept
Mhm.
implying it. Where,
Mhm.
what? And then you still got these pro Chia people like, oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna be going IPO. Like, all right, come on, all right,
Yeah.
we've heard it so many
Yeah.
times. Like,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Here's here's a
yeah.
comment. One comment on your videos that we see all the time from pro Chia people
Welcome, Yeah.
is
welcome back to the port.
they're a private company and you're not entitled to know anything.
Yeah,
I'm so sick
whatever.
of stuff
Yeah,
like that because that's like a line straight out of a cult playbook, right?
yeah.
Where it's,
It didn't make
it's
any
just
sense
like
to me, man.
you don't need to know because they're a private company and they owe you nothing. Well, it's like,
Right,
okay,
right.
let's just assume that's true. Then why is this about trust? I trust a company that owes me nothing and tells me nothing, and I don't know what's going on. Yeah, not that doesn't work for me, dog.
No, I hear you. I think even I did a video about Voscoin one time when he was pushing the whole evergreen stuff,
Hmm.
and he asked me, he's like, "Yo, why are you coming after me? Like, why are you so negative about this?" And I said, like, what are you shilling now, right? Like, why are you shilling this
What
shit?
are you shilling?
And I think it got to one last time I spoke to him, he literally asked Chia like, "What the fuck is going on with this shit?" And he has not done a Chia video since.
Yeah, someone I forgot where I read it. Someone said that Voscoin had painted Chia in a bad light in one of his recent videos, and then I went
Yeah.
search. I couldn't find it. Like
Yeah, he
so
probably got. I remember him commenting it, cause I think I comment something and then he commented right after or something like that. And I saw like I didn't go out and look for whatever he posted, but he pretty much said like, "What she's shit." Yeah, and ever since then, like I hit him, I hit him pretty hard. I think I hit him to the point where like, why was I the guy who talks about Chia bagging him about it? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he just left. That was the last thing I heard of it. I even did a video one time. It got pretty popular. It got a good popularity. It was. Let me see if I can show this one right now. Not show it, but just share with you guys what I'm talking about. So I'll share that, and let me just make another copy here so you guys tap to the right. Oops. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Yeah, so I was just sharing my YouTube channel, and I'm just letting the guys. Welcome back to the Poor Investor. There you go. All right, so obviously I had efficient in here.
Yeah.
So a lot of the what if Chia bullshit and plot compression, no SSDs. So these NFT stuff. Let me just see. Yeah, there was one where I did a video. I don't know if I could find it right away, but I did a video about all these YouTubers making videos about Chia and where the hell did
Mm.
they go.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a pretty interesting one, and then a couple of them reached out. Like, oh, I still have my farmer. Yeah, so that's when I hit up Red Panda Mining, and a couple other guys, the bigger YouTubers that like you guys like where they all go, and they responded back, and then that's how that happened. So yeah, I what was it? Rabbit mining was one of them,
Hmm.
right? Rabbit mining was one of them. Solar, lithium solar was another big channel. He uses his solar channel to farm chia. And I asked him one time, I was like, "Yo, how come you don't do more chia video?" And he goes, "Yeah, it doesn't get real engagement compared to his solar, panels. He gets a lot of views, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And every time he talks about chia, he said no one watches that shit."
That's hilarious. You know why? Because before we started this video, I was outside playing basketball with my boy. He's 12.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And we were talking about my YouTube channel. And I said, yeah, I had some Chia videos up, but I deleted them once I lost faith in the project.
Right, right.
Uh, and he was like, nobody knows what Chia even is, Dad. Like, how are you going to get any
Yeah.
views on Chia?
My
I said,
my
you're totally right, man. You
yeah.
got to do something more popular if you
My
want more
wife
views.
would never watch any of the shit that I have. She was like she still questions like what the hell is it, right? To this day. And I can't even explain it anymore because I don't even know what it is that they do.
But man, you conquered this niche. Look at how many videos you've got. You're like
I
probably the
did,
most.
man. I did.
You
I
have
mean,
the
you
most.
see how I diverted away from here and there, like
Yeah, you mixed it in with the GPU
yeah,
stuff.
Ethereum mining, and then AMD versus Nvidia, like little things, and it it was more focused because it was interesting. I mean, it was a hobby at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
this was 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I even
Years.
did a real estate video in here.
There, look at that. Just, Octane, $2,600 Octane right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the fool that bought that. I did
And
it.
this helium crap that was like everyone was trying to buy.
I bought two of those too.
I lucky I was on the I think I was on the waiting. I never got my hands on it, and I just yeah, screw it, not
It's fun. It
buying it.
took like a year for me to get mine after I placed the order, and by that time it was
Look at
worth
this
nothing.
crap, man. Dollar HDD coin. How much is that worth now? Like
Oh man, probably a
nothing?
fraction of a cent.
Zero?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, it was a
funny.
oh, I used to gamble a lot. That's what I did on Mojo Whale.
You were
You
right. That
remember
was a fork, huh?
you,
HDD coin was a Chia fork.
yeah, the HDD coin was a GFO. You remember Mojo Whale?
Sort of. I never really got into that
So
one.
Mojo Whale. Oh, so this is Mike. Mike was one of the OG farmers. He was in one of those early beginning AMAs with Chia as an early plotter farmer. But Mojo Whale, let me just go back to the Mojo Whale. Mojo Whale was a gambling site. It no longer exists, but you used to just bet
Uh-huh.
XCH.
Oh, I kind of remember that. Was it
Yeah,
super simple? Like you
very
either win or you
simple.
lose.
Yeah,
You like
yeah,
double
yeah,
your money
yeah,
or
yeah,
lose it
yeah.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was like a fucking scam, but I still played it. But I was like, oh, I won, and it was just an addiction, man. But yeah,
Yeah,
everything. Let's see. Someone had 20 PIB. Oh, that was you. Oh shit,
that was me.
that was 3 years ago,
Yep,
bro. Holy shit.
I know that. So I was at 3 and I wanted 20. That's when I was like, that's my
Oh
goal.
my god. Yeah. So
That's 3 years ago. Crazy.
that is insane, right? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, here you go. I mean, I did a lot of crap about this.
Hey,
Two,
let's see,
maybe
go down to like the beginning. So 7,500 views. I mean, this is when people were eating it up
three
in the
years.
beginning.
Yeah, it was. I mean, depending on what I said and how I said it, and people were watching. Hard drive scams. Wow, that was pretty high.
There you go. Windows plots in 6 hours, 8,000 views on that one 3 years ago.
That's how sad it was, man.
6 hours, man. And that was good, probably.
Yeah,
6 hours.
yeah, that was pretty sad. I spent way too much time on this shit. Oh yeah, so and then this goes back to my original. Like I was like slowly growing with the stock stuff. Like maybe like 100, 200, like subscribers here and there.
Yeah.
And then it all started with this Chia crypto setup video.
Whoa, yeah. It went from like 100 views to
Yeah.
5,000.
So
You
I was
jumped.
like, all right, let me capitalize on this shit. And then I started doing then it became nonstop, man. It became
Wow.
nonstop. Yeah.
So you even did a shucking video. That's
I
funny.
did. Yeah, I did all that crap, man. So I don't know if anyone will ever go back on this, but I don't know. Maxi Pool, Max IO Pool, they closed down pretty early. That was 3 years
Your
into it.
your channel's like a Chia museum at this point
You're
because
probably right.
you've documented.
Yo, you see this one, King Spec? They even, because I was doing so much Chia videos and hard drives, they wanted me to promote this.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a promotion video. Yeah.
Oh, did you ever get a warehouse? I remember watching that
No, I
video.
didn't get a warehouse. This warehouse was being built next to me. It's already
Oh,
built. Yeah, it's done already.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it
making
was
noise
done.
outside.
Yeah. So pretty much it. Yeah. Oh, Raptorium was another one I was into.
Oh,
That's when I did
dude,
the whole wall. Yeah.
me too. I was
Yeah.
totally nuts on Raptorium for a while.
But I
That's
haven't I haven't done anything anymore. Not
all these coins, man, they all crashed and burned. Raptorium. I was into
yeah.
Nexa for a while. Zephyr.
But
Really, all this.
there was a difference between that with Chia, because I felt like Chia, if you stop doing Chia, it was harder to liquidate these damn hard drives.
That's true.
Because when you
That
were mining, whether it was Raptorium or Ethereum or Mucoin or whatever other coin, you had top of the line GPUs and everyone still wants them regardless, and it was just
hmm
easier to
hmm
sell, right?
Yeah, got video gamers and
Yeah, so
yeah,
it was multi-purpose, unlike hard drives. You're storing
Yeah.
stuff. Like
And
it's kind of
like I
boring.
said in the
How
last
much do you
video
really
too,
need?
yeah, exactly. And shipping hard drives just sucks. They
Yeah,
break
it
too easy.
does. It does. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That was, we probably just went through a whole history of that.
Did we beat the dead horse to death again?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Twitching.
Oh, I even met up with the Chia Pool, the GG Pool guys. I don't know what happened to them. I met up with GG Pool. I did a lot of interviews with these guys. A good amount of
Wow, no.
people. I did yeah, I mean I met a lot of good people along the way too. Other YouTubers and farmers.
So what was your best investment that you made in the last 3 years? Wasn't Chia?
Oh, real estate, hands down.
Real
Oh,
estate? All right.
yeah, I have a bunch of real estate. I would never,
Nice.
I don't like speaking about it as much anymore. I used to like, oh, maybe I can do a whole video, like, like content around my real estate journey.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what, I prefer to keep all that private.
I mean, I find that super interesting. So if you ever change your
Yeah.
mind, I'll
No, I
subscribe to
know,
that
but
one.
I want it to like be as broad as possible, but knowing me, I probably get into too much detail and I'll expose my own shit. And I didn't want that. That's the reason why I don't really talk about the real estate anymore.
Can
But
you
there's just
talk in
people know that
general,
I have real estate. That's about it.
like in general, are you comfortable saying, was it like real estate flipping? Are you flipping a
No,
property?
no, no. It's just long-term rentals. That's why it's
Oh,
not that
okay.
like it's not that intriguing. Like, all right, I would have probably the most recent thing, like I would have done a video about like let's just say, oh, one of my tenants passed away and they didn't find the body till like a freaking month later in the middle of July. Like
Gee,
and how much money I had to spend cleaning that shit up and the biohazard team. So yeah, that would have been a video.
that's a good
It,
video. I bet you
I
get
guess,
10,000 views on
but
that.
it's not like
20,000.
I get a lot of those. You know what I mean? But the other times, like, all right, I'm paying my water bill, I'm paying my property insurance.
Man,
So,
watch that be your next video that gets 100,000 views. What do you
I
do with a dead body in your rental
I know,
property?
right? Shit. Oh, my most recent one. I had a freaking hoarder, and they were like, they just left the whole freaking place. Like, they had to rent a dumpster to clear all that shit
Oh,
out.
man.
Yeah, she, they fucked me over. Um, the renter that rented my place, because we went through a property manager, she sublet it. We didn't know, obviously.
Oh no.
So she
Oh
sublet
no.
it. She made off, right? And I'm stuck with cleaning this shit out, and we're trying to squeeze money out, and she's like nowhere to be found now. So,
I've seen firsthand how bad that was when I first became an attorney. I had my own
oh
practice and I took a, landlord's case who needed to
yeah,
evict a bad tenant. And yeah, they just completely
yeah.
destroyed
I
the
don't
rest of
understand that logic. Even if you were like stealing to live there, like wouldn't you want to keep it neat so you can still
the.
live there? Even though you're stealing from someone else.
Yeah, and
But no,
it
they
turned
they
into
make it a
yeah,
shithole. Yeah,
yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
there was like
crazy.
broken down cars in the backyard that had to get towed out,
Unbelievable,
stuff
man.
like
I was like
that.
looking at it. I'm like, holy shit. And I was like, anyway, that was the end of it. But anyway, Brian, this was awesome, man. I know, we met like last week, I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was short.
Someone actually said this was more like a podcast style opposed to interview. I'm not even we're past that interview part. Like everyone knows who you are. They know who I am. It's just I think we're just having a friendly conversation, and people, if they tune in to listen to what we have to say about Chia at this point,
Yeah, yeah.
which I don't feel like there's much to really talk about anymore, which is sad because then I stopped talking to a lot of people who I met along the way.
Yeah, I know. I do
You
miss
know,
some of the friends that I met along the way for sure.
so like 3 years, I met a lot of good people, and that what kept us together was Chia. I mean, that's the only probably the only positive thing that I can say that Chia brought us
Yeah,
together.
joint hobbies. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good thing.
It was interesting. I can't believe it was 3 years ago I spoke to you about that
I
your Chia farm.
I can't either, man. So much has changed.
I
It's amazing.
know, I know. So I did meet a lot of other farmers along the way. Uh, some had quit early on for some reason. I don't know was on the writing that they saw that was different from everyone else, but they knew when I was talking. I'm just looking back at some of the videos on the thumbnails. I remember talking to some of them, and they quit a long time ago. They quit like probably a little bit right at the downside after the peak. And they just said, I'm not
Wow.
dealing with this shit. Yeah. And I was like, I was pretty surprised on how they justify that. But
Yeah.
they weren't wrong. I'm just
Yeah,
saying they
seriously.
weren't wrong.
And especially if they were selling their coins along the way, they were smart. I mean, getting
Yeah.
$300 is better than 12.
Oh, so I'm just looking at the thumbnails. Like, I don't remember. Jill Gunter, Chia board of director. She loves ETH. Yeah, that's
You
true.
had 5 Chia use cases explained. I don't even remember what that would have been.
I think I just took whatever it was that they were trying to do or say. I wouldn't have taken this out of thin air. That's for sure. Yeah. Everything that anything that I did a video on was something that I saw or read either on the forums or whatever it was. And that's where when they didn't even know themselves, and then you had guys like Flo's Time Lord come back at me and like, "Oh no, you're not right. Oh, that's inaccurate." I'm like, "All right, whatever." I gave up on that shit. I gave up. Oh, you get your facts checked. I'm like, okay.
Maybe he'll do your next interview podcast.
I so many times I told him to come on. He didn't want to come on. He doesn't want to show his face. He doesn't want to talk.
We'll just do one of those animojis
Yeah,
over.
I said we don't have to show your face. We could just and then he'll say, okay, maybe, and then nothing ever happens. Yeah.
Bummer.
So anyway. All
Well,
right,
good talking
man.
to
Yeah,
you.
good
Good
talking to
talking.
you, man. I'll just put it up raw. And then they'll go from there. I'm gonna
All
stop
right.
recording. All right. So we'll take care, man.
All right. You too. Have a good weekend.